This is going to be a special video, one of a couple that I want to do, with a particular theme involved. These are going to be dedication videos, and this one in particular is dedicated to my father, and it's also dedicated to Stan Lee. These are some of the many people that have inspired me since birth, but have unfortunately passed away. Most recently, Stan Lee. This is a special video because it's going to be the start of a particular few in dedication of them and a few others that I'll be mentioning later on in the video and throughout the series. It's going to be at least a 3-part series of drawing time-lapse videos. So, allow me to elaborate on that. So without further ado, it's time to get ready, get set, and escape with me. As said before, there's a long list of people who inspire me on a daily basis, not just as an artist, but as a person. And Stan Lee showed me that heroes weren't these perfect gods that had no struggles. He showed me that these characters on these pages, they were heroes at the end of the day, but like Spider-Man, they were still human despite their powers. They still had to deal with life outside of what they were doing to save the day. What was included? It came with many sacrifices and consequences. Like with Spider-Man, my favorite superhero, there was all this conflict and real life stuff outside of his web swinging. And all the other superheroes that he made, that Stan Lee made, alongside Jack Kirby and many of the other writers and artists he collaborated with. The storytelling that he made were that people could relate to. Whether you were a kid or an adult, a different nationality, that it was okay to be different and treat each other with equality. Male or female, whatever. The X-Men comics were another great example of that. It was showing that it was okay to be different. He took our hands and took us on many journeys to escape our world temporarily, to return marveled and with a different outlook on our own world, our own very similar world. For many, it helped spark the creative flame to create our own worlds, like myself. Memories I remember go to my father and I singing and humming along whatever 90s cartoons like the X-Men theme song, the Spider-Man of the 90s, loving every minute of it, bonding over the stories and characters, truly caring for them. It hit me really hard because of these reasons and how much of my dad I saw in Stan Lee. Him dying felt like losing my dad all over again. But one great thing we have still are the memories and everything else he has left us, not only to continue building our own worlds, our own universes, but to never forget the ones he's built, and how others will continue where he left behind, and how others, how others alongside him that he got to work with, how they felt so inspired and motivated. They also are included in this dedication. All the people they got to work with, that he got to work with, I wish I was one of them. I wish I had gotten to meet him. But thankfully, in a way, I kind of did. Through the movies he's been in, games, reading about him, or reading his stories, any other videos, etc. Piece by piece, I at least had that. And had the chance to live during part of his life and experience that. This video is a thank you to those two people in particular. To my father and to Stan Lee. Two peas in a very similar pod. That was a very weird phrase. I don't know I didn't know about saying that at first, but there it is. So, thank you, Dad. And thank you, Stan Lee. So, continuing with the picture. I knew from the get-go how I wanted this picture to look. It came to about 85% close to how I originally envisioned it. I, from the get-go, had the idea of doing a picture of Stan Lee where he's kind of doing almost a Superman-esque thing where he has his suit on and underneath is the costume. So I thought, why not have my superhero, my favorite superhero, and most likely his favorite superhero too, on him, and use the most recent Spider-Man insignia from Marvel Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4 as that as well. So I thought it had to be that. It had the classic web thwip hand gesture too. I kept messing up on the hand. I'm not really proud of the hand at all, but I left it as it was. I didn't want to stay on it too long, so. And of course you had to have the classic shades. I kind of knew for a while the many stages of how Stan Lee looked from his early years to then. And it's wild really thinking about how much different a person can look as they age. Something that, for instance, Stan Lee didn't start really wearing those glasses, those classic trademark shades, until he got older, like now. In this picture, I should say. And, you know, when he was younger, he looked like an everyday person. And then as he was getting older, you see all these different looks that pretty much anyone would go through. You know, we all change our looks over the years. It's just really cool, fascinating seeing someone that inspired me so much, like what he looked like from beginning to end, essentially. It was really cool. I had a really fun time drawing the spider insignia, but I think my most favorite part was drawing the face. I was really glad to do the toned paper for this, for that particular reason, to do my best to capture his look. And to go back to the series, of this dedication series, in particular, I do have 3 planned pictures for this. This being the first one. I want to have Stan Lee in each picture. The next one's going to be a picture, a group picture of like Robin Williams in there, Chester Bennington from Linkin Park, another Stan Lee in there. I'm going to get my dad in there as well, and I might try to squeeze one more other person. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the third one just yet, but like I said, Stan Lee's going to be in all 3, and I'll go from there. It was really fun doing the shading. I'm still trying to figure out how do they really do that, and you can see right there I messed up really bad with the black ink there. I was going to use Sharpie at first, but I thought I might as well just paint it. It's going to be more time effective. So when I did that, I didn't realize that I dipped my brush in a little too deep, so it had a lot of excess ink that you saw drip down instantly. So instant regret on my part, but I really do like using the Indian ink. This is I think my 3rd time using it. I want to use it a bit more, but I need to find more pictures that are worth using it in. I should get more accustomed to using it anyway, because I'm having trouble figuring out the pinpoints of the brush and being more accurate with my strokes. With the white chalk, I was really having a ball with it. I wanted to see, I looked around for a couple references of people who use the chalk with the toned paper, because it's a good combo. It's one of those things where you gotta have one, you can't really have one without the other, I should say. It's just something you just have to have with each other. And here I was getting a little messy. I couldn't really get the full pinpoint of the brush that I really wanted. Essentially, it still worked out. I have no huge complaints or anything. And of course, it can't be a Stan Lee picture without the classic Excelsior in there. Hopefully, the audio is synced with what's showing on the video. If not, I apologize. So this is the final product. My wife actually helped me with the final piece. She came up with the idea to smear the chalk so it had this kind of aura, this kind of light behind Stan Lee, almost like he's kind of saying his last farewell, you know? It's kind of beautiful in a way. So she did that and added the shading to it, and that's the final piece. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, let me know if there's any future content you'd like to see, and do be sure to leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed the video, do be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until the wind hits our sails again, I will see you in the next escape.